Hey traders, Nick here, recapping the action. Yes, you get the camera 2 days in a row. What? Lucky you. No, just feeling like it. So today the scoreboard was flat. If you look, we're looking right here at the S&P, and I think they closed almost dead on flat. And then you're wondering, what's up with this? How can we be flat when this happened? That's because overnight we had a huge rally. Wow, who could have seen it coming? We did, and I'll show you in a minute. So as uncommitted, I've said this before. If you remember, you've heard it. If you've watched any videos of late, you've heard it. You heard me say it. This is an uncommitted market. That's because everybody wants to trade on headlines. They're just waiting one headline to another. Not a good way to do business, to be honest with you. You can make it a lot easier if you study charts. And luckily we know charts, and even though we're not from Wall Street, we definitely know charts, and I'll show you in a minute. For example, and we know options. The combination is pretty strong, and I'll show you something here. This guy right here, this is Netflix. They reported earnings after hours. It fell 12%, I think, and it bounced back. Who could have seen this coming? We did, and the comments were just before the close within the last hour. One thing we do is I looked at the options, and these are my comments. So I said the Netflix move, it looks like it's going to be big, and it should be down. That was my comment. My comment was that I wouldn't hold calls. Some people in the room went with their gut and held calls, and we'll have the discussion about that tomorrow. And I said if it falls to 300, it will find buyers, right? Those are my comments. I wouldn't hold calls. I think it would be down, and if it falls to 300, it would find buyers. It fell to 300, a little bit extra, and it's almost flat right now. So you couldn't have orchestrated a better move. So we know what we're talking about, which makes it a lot easier. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier than just winging it. Okay, so how about the S&P? Let's look at the futures contract and reset. Go to 15 minutes and reset. Okay, so this is the 15-minute chart for the S&P. So it goes back a few days. And you can see it's all over the map. But when it's all said and done, it's right in the middle. So how could you trade this? If you're not trading, you're swing trade investing or investing, it's not a big deal today. But if you're actually trading, if you don't know what you're doing, you could get hurt. Here was the arrow from yesterday. Here was the pre-market open, the overnight rally, I should say. Here's the disappointment. There were quite a few trades that you could have taken. So the message is, again, like yesterday, tactical is the way to be. Don't have an opinion that you absolutely believe in, because we don't know what we don't know. The experts may sound very, like when you hear people in the news or on CNBC, they sound emphatic. Oh yeah, when this happens, usually this happens. Anybody that says a statement with usually, stop listening. There's nothing usual about this environment. This has never happened before. So what now? I take it one tick at a time. So my comments today are, I'm cautiously optimistic, to borrow from these idiots on CNBC. But to me, I'll put it in tangible ways you can trade it. So if there's, I live in California, in Southern California, so we could have an earthquake at any day. I know there's one coming. I don't know when. I don't hide at home. What can I do? I go business as usual, follow the herd, and go with the flow, I should say, and be prepared. So how can I do this in trading perspective, in trading terms? Trade the action in front of me. Look at it. They are buying dips, and they have higher lows, and they're trying to make higher highs. They're coming to a huge fight from February this year, which they failed in earlier this month. And this is the fight from last summer. So it shouldn't be easy, but they're doing it 1 inch at a time from higher perspective. So what does that mean? It means the bulls are in charge. As price action, they are buying dips. But what about the recession? Who gives a shit about the recession? Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't come. And Wall Street prices things in advance. Just trade what's in front of me, not what I think I should be seeing in front of me. And protect yourself. How? So if I have dozens, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market, the VIX today struggled. It couldn't break 17. It barely broke 17 and it fell. It's under 17. The mathematical average is higher. So it's well below the mathematical average. Now, I've seen it trade for a year or so under 14. But we had a different environment. We had a QE forever attitude. Well, now we have a QT forever attitude. This guy won't stop raising rates. So it's cheap to buy the VIX calls for protection. And I'm talking protection to a holy shit moment. That's not like, oh, I'm going to try to short the market for 5%. Let me buy VIX calls. I'm not that guy. But if I wanted to protect a lot of money, why wouldn't I spend $300 to $600 to $700 buying some calls 60 days out? It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. So it's not foolproof. But on a really bad day, I'm not talking 5% drop. I'm talking the market dropping 20% in like 3 days. They happen. Trust me. Those VIX calls explode to 30 to 40 to 50. It went to 90 during the pandemic. It went to 90 during the '08 crisis. I remember the financial crisis. I don't know exactly when it did that. So it is an easy way to be cautiously and stay somewhat optimistic. I would change my mind if the earnings from Amazon come out a disaster, for example. I've said that before. So the earnings from Netflix, who cares? I don't really know exactly what they did, but it seems like, here and there, they disappointed this. The sales growth was 3%. That sucks. It looks like revenues from recurring memberships up 5%. I would like to know the definition of that. Why don't they say new members or something, new signups? Anyway, so it's not a complete disaster, but it's not, yay, great job. And hopefully tomorrow Tesla will be a little bit clearer as to success relative to last quarter or last year this time. It's about expectations, not the quality of the report. But for Amazon, it is about the quality of report for me in order for me to know what the economy is doing. So we'll take it day by day. Go with the flow means don't expect to crash unless a crash is coming. And it doesn't just, if it shows up out of nowhere, you have those VIX calls. The turn usually gives hints. And right now they're buying dips. Until that behavior changes, I'm going to continue to look for longs and buy dips, like the Netflix dip after hours.